perfect for this job is one who has the experience, the ability, and most importantly, the leadership skills to do what we need to get done. When I first met him in law school, and I'll share this little anecdotal story, he had just come from working with Spark Matsunaga in Washington, D.C. We were in Lehigh to a Grasshopper Hotel, really telling you guys how old we were. And he was obviously very passionate about what he had done and where he went. And I thought to myself, you know, I better be nice to this guy. Maybe one day he just might be my U.S. Senator. And that day has come. So it is with my pride and pleasure and utmost commitment to him and to all of you that I ask you to help all of us in getting him re-elected and elected to the U.S. Senate. Please join me as I introduce you to my friend and yours, the next U.S. Senator from the state of Hawaii, Ed Case. And
Aloha! Well, I have to apologize to you, first of all. You might have noticed that my voice is not quite what it used to be, at least as of this morning at about 6 o'clock. I haven't had a voice, actually, for about 3 or 4 days, and some people were saying, well, how are you going to pull this off? And I said, well, maybe it's time for a few more leaders in our country to listen rather than talk. It's also been a wonderful time for my wife Audrey and as well as for my campaign because I haven't been able to say anything. They just got to do it and say whatever the hell they wanted to say. It's so good to see each and all of you here today. So good to feel the warmth, the passion for our country. So good to feel the aloha. Wait, Audrey, come back. We're not quite ready for that yet. I'll tell you a little bit about Audrey later on. And it's so good to look out over the audience here and see folks that we've worked with right from the very beginning of our campaigns, of which Crystal was one 25 years ago in a small state house race in Manoa. And a couple of you other were here. Sono, as a matter of fact, was our campaign manager there as well as Crystal. And it's so good especially to see the folks here that I haven't really talked to or met before. This campaign is about each and all of you, and it's good to have people that have been with us over those years and people that are coming in to you because of what you want. There are a couple of people that I want to thank, besides those that Crystal has already thanked. The first, of course, is Crystal herself, who has been such a fantastic friend. I want to thank our great campaign crew, and especially Ed Hasegawa and Myra Arzadan, who put this event on. Thank you so much. And I want to thank my life partner, of course, the person that puts up with my political campaigns, but doesn't just put up with them, but is a full partner, an absolute full partner in every sense of the word. And that's my incredible wife, Audrey. Please, give her a round of applause. What Audrey said, the reason I was joking a little bit was, what Audrey said was, she said, you know, I'm not going to stand up with you the whole time you're talking like 20 minutes and make the goo-goo eyes at you like everybody else. You introduced me and I'm going to sit down. I'm ready. Crystal said it right. This is an absolutely critical election. A critical election, 2012 Senate Hawaii. It is one of the most critical elections that we have ever had in this state. And today it is one of the most critical elections in our country. We have been served long and well by an entire generational team, Senators Inouye and Senator Akaka. in the United States Senate. That team is coming to an end with Senator Akaka's retirement. And who we pick next for Hawaii is crucial in terms of our representation in Washington, D.C. It is crucial not just today, but down into the next generation, because we are in the middle of the passing of generational responsibilities. And the decision that you and we make for the United States Senate in 2012 will be a decision that in all likelihood would impact the quality and capability of our representation in Washington, D.C. for Hawaii. And if you don't think that that's an important decision, consider all of the items and impacts and consequences of what our federal government does on us right here in Hawaii. You want to talk about tourism. Our federal government makes a difference in terms of how the tourism industry works, in our foreign policy, in the way that we utilize our federal resources. You want to talk about military spending. See Senator Inoue for the incredible consequences of his representation, and consider who needs to pick up that responsibility as we go down the road. You want to talk about maintaining that social safety net right here that so many of us rely upon. These things are critical and crucial for our Hawaii. So when we decide to move on in terms of the next U.S. Senate generational representation, we are talking about one of the most important decisions in our state's history, and it's that important. If that wasn't important enough, consider where our country is today, and consider the responsibilities and obligations of national leadership that each United States Senator carries. Each United States Senator today must be a national leader. You can't just go up to Washington, D.C. from any state as a U.S. Senator and only focus on your state. Yes, you have those responsibilities and you need to discharge them. But you need to lead our country also. And so when we talk about the U.S. Senate seats that are up next year, and there's 33 of them, we are talking about the future of our country. The future of our country today and the future of our country out into the next generation. The United States Senate seat is a national leadership seat. That person has to be able to step forward, carry the core values, as Crystal said, of his or her state forward into national leadership. And if you're not up for that job, you shouldn't be asking for that job. This is a national. Now we all know that our state and our country are going through tough times. We all know that we need to worry about our economy, number one. If you're not worrying about the economy, number one, I don't think you're on the right planet. We need to worry about jobs, number one. We need to worry about keeping people employed in good jobs all across this country and this state. We need to be concerned about whether we can sustain our federal finances. What a mess the last couple of months have been. Senator Inoue said it just right. It's an embarrassment. I feel embarrassed today for my Congress, the place where I served for over 4 years, a place that I've worked in one way or another for 7 years plus. That is a place that I love, that I respect, that I want to do well, but I don't feel good about it right now. And I'm embarrassed, really, that our country is regarded the way it is. You know, it's one thing for us to go out there and preach to the rest of the world about how this should be and that should be, and we need to balance our budget. But it's another thing for us to fall short after doing that. We are the leaders of our world. And if we can't lead, we lose the credibility out there in our world. And then others who we really don't want to lead our world are happy to go out there and lead it for us. And that is the consequence of the issues that we face today. But there's a greater problem that we have in our country today. Greater than the economy, greater than jobs, greater than the social safety net, greater than our perception of the world. It's really about a crisis of confidence in ourselves. It's really about us wondering whether we can do the job anymore. It's really a crisis of governance, as we wonder whether the institutions of government that have served us well over many generations can do the job anymore? And the answer is very clearly, of course they can. Of course we can do this job. Of course we can. We have to. You know, sometimes you think to yourself, think about those so-called greatest generation that came out of the Second World War, a world devastated, a country nowhere near what it is today. And they built an incredible country and an incredible world. You think about the people that came out of that same war and came home, people like Senator Inouye, and went in to office and built the state that we enjoy here today. They had these problems too. Are you kidding? They had worse problems. They had worse challenges. They had a Cold War to deal with. They had putting together an entire infrastructure for a state to deal with. They had discrimination to overcome. They had so many challenges. And you know, sometimes I think to myself, if some of those people could see us today, wouldn't they say to themselves, you guys are a bunch of wimps. Of course you can do the job. Of course we can do it. The crisis is not in whether we can solve these problems. The crisis is in our belief that we can solve them. And I say to you very strongly, as somebody who wants to go up to Washington, somebody who wants to go up and take on these challenges, somebody who wants to go up and be part of the solution, not part of the problem, yes, we can do it. And we have to. Our campaign is about finding a better way. Our campaign is about reaching out to all of the incredible diversity of Hawaii and tapping the incredible diversity of thought and resources and people wanting to be part of their government again. Not wanting to just walk away anymore. Our campaign is about saying, "E komo mai, come in, let's do this job together." That's what this campaign is about. Our campaign is about taking on and solving the tough problems. Being honest with people. You know, sometimes I listen to the debate coming out of Washington, and I think to myself, it's the weirdest darn thing. We all know what the problem is. We all know what the real choice is. We all know what the hard, tough choices are, but everybody pretends like maybe it's so hard to figure out. It's not rocket science. What is the problem is facing it together, making the decisions and moving on in a way that is equal and even to everybody. That's the challenge. This campaign is about making those challenges. And I think this campaign is about one other thing. And I say this one very directly. You know, sometimes there's an attitude out there in our state and in our country that the things that are happening to us are inevitable. That there are things that just have to happen and there's nothing we can do about that. I reject that. I reject it. These are decisions for us to make. These are decisions for us to choose. These are choices that we decide to make as we move forward together. So we ask you to join us in a campaign of inclusion, a campaign of results-oriented decision-making, and a campaign of forging the future that we want. Not anybody else, but what we want. Because I believe, and I believe you believe, that we can do better, we must do better, and we will do better. We can do better, we must do better, and we will do better. If you take nothing more with you today, think that. We can do better, we must do better, and we will do better. And we ask you, as we go down the road, for your help in this campaign. We need you. We need you. We are running a campaign that, of course, will have opponents in it. And you will have a good, solid choice to make, and the people of Hawaii will have a good, solid choice to make. We start this campaign in great shape. The team that we have been with us through so many campaigns of the past is intact. We are going out there over the next 2 weeks and holding 6 campaign kickoff events in all of the counties. This is our first. We go out there and re-meet the people that have been with us in the past campaigns and meet new people coming in. Now, in Kona, in Hilo, in Waikoloa, in Wailuku, in Lihue. I got a bunch of new brochures and I'm ready to do my walking myself. And we go out there today to run a grassroots campaign that we need to run. But we need your help. We need your help. We need a campaign of inclusion. Look around this room today and ask yourself, look at the incredible diversity in this room. We could take this room and magnify it by a couple hundred times. The campaign would be won already. We need to go out there and work the grassroots in your communities, in your schools. How can you help? Ed Hasagawa is going to tell you how you can help very shortly. My campaign treasurer would be remiss if I didn't say, yes, we do need your financial assistance as you can help us. We may not raise more money than anybody else in this campaign. Maybe we will. I'm not sure. Maybe we won't. But we need to raise enough money to run a statewide campaign. So if and as you can help us with $25, $100, whatever the amount is, I tell you it will be treasured and it will do wonders for our campaign. But today is really more about the fundraising and the grassroots of this campaign. As we talk about what are the things that we can do. And let's remember that Hawaii is a beautiful place because at its heart, Hawaii is still a pretty small place. I have the rule of 100. If I reach one person, if I talk to one person and that person is impressed by what they hear from me, or if that person says that they're my supporter, that person will translate to 100 others. It's probably more than 100, but it sounds good, the rule of 100. And you can think to yourself pretty well that pretty soon you're talking some compound mathematics. And it's amazing that Coconut Wireless, and how well it still works in Hawaii. And that is the fortunate thing. I'm so happy I'm not running a Senate campaign from New York. I'm not sure I'd ever meet anybody. But here in Hawaii, we can meet, we can interact, we can reach out. So use that Coconut Wireless. We need your fundraising help. We need your Coconut Wireless help, and we need your volunteer help. I want to thank you all for coming. This was a fantastic turnout. I don't think that we could imagine a better way to start our campaign, to open our headquarters. Each and all of you is welcome anytime you want to come down, join us. We've always got a job for you, whether it's putting on some stamps. If you just want to cruise and drink some coffee, people do that too, that's all right. But we are so appreciative, and I'm so personally appreciative. I'm really excited to hit the road with each and all of you. I'm excited at the opportunity to seek the United States Senate. I'm excited at the challenge of finding a better way forward. I'm excited at hitting the campaign trail again for the next year. I'm excited at the ability to reach out to a new Hawaii and ask for help, to understand that Hawaii that I was born and raised in all over again, and to take that up to Washington, D.C. So thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it, we honor it, and we look forward to working with you. Now before I conclude, I'm going to turn this over to Ed Hasagawa. He's going to talk a little bit about our grassroots effort and some very, very specific ways we can help. We look forward to seeing you along the campaign trail. Thank you very much again.